estuve el fin de semana fuera de mi casa, así que no sé qué había pasado. Holmes, a ver, what Holmes, a ver, si yo soy Holmes. What?
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Gracias. Está en la mesa, me dijo. Aquí, coge. Un escándalo colosal azota a la alta sociedad. El célebre y notable arqueólogo Sir Radcliffe, orgullo de nuestra nación, ha sido hallado muerto. El asesinato tuvo lugar en los baños romanos de Stone Lane, el lugar donde el arqueólogo lleva a cabo más reciente investigación. Yo no creo que haya sido esa. ¿O sí? La carta dice estar en la mesa.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
¿Terminar aquí ahora? Bien. Tareas. Holmes recibe una misión urgente. Ya a altas horas de la noche. Algo va mal en Avery Range. Parece que un caso de asesinato.
This is my archive.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should...
What? Aquí.
My analysis.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Aquí está la mesa. Aquí.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter. The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Vamos. A la chucha. No, todavía acepto. Yo creo porque se me está perdido, creo que este no... Este está bien, viste. Hay que comprar un piso, ¿no? Ahí. Llegamos. Straight.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise her right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right. I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Y la habitación yo creo que es para acá, ¿no? Justo. Al toque.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Voy a ver esto primero que tiene. Faltan dos cosas, ¿qué cosa?
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship?
Tengo que preguntarle todo, no quiero preguntarle todo.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall. Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall. Baron Lyndon Brackenstall. Lord George Brackenstall. The Brackenstall family seems rather austere.
The body is still in the dining room where the...
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Hay que te lo examinar tú.
So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
Murió de un mazazo en la cabeza. ¿Qué dice? Esa campanilla.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me.
Falta el pasaporte.
That must be the murder weapon. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon.
Quiero ver si está.
Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress.
Falta algo.
It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation.
Pero el arma no tiene sangre, ¿o sí? Esta tengo que ver el tiro. Me voy por ese lado, pero
A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed. Chateau Cr1mes, French wine, Grand Cru. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear.
algo aquí. Puede ser. Esa. No sé, bueno, hay tantas posibilidades.
A fur trader's cabin.
Miss Watson.
A hunter scene. A trapper's hut. A trapper's hut. The hunting scene. A hunter's cabin. Antique hunting weapons.
Hunting. Tan bonita no. No veo nada por el momento. Aparador. Está roto aquí.
The hunting scene. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen.
Necesita esa weá.
A bottle of wine is missing here.
Eso era.
The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the
Yo lo
house.
veía, pero no.
They only took a little silverware.
Vamos a ir a la botella de agua. This is the bottle.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there. This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there. A fur trader's cabin. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Vamos a ver el... Esto aquí. Así sea, pero no quiero hacer eso todavía. Porque queman las cosas.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Vamos a ver el tiro.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know. Please leave my Mary alone. She suffered so much, she deserves some rest.
Misión en una de las casas más serias de Chile. Aprecia que estará subida que no entiendo.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article. These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it. This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one? So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
¿Vive la foto? Ah, no me la llevé. Tengo que hablar, investigar esto. ¿Puedo salir? Hecho. Bueno, vamos a hacer. Que ahí investigando esto. Aquí.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
No se abre.
The fibers from this cut appear to be different. The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Es que con el cuchillo no. Lo único que me queda es cuchillo.
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Samurai está el aire. Ya. Vamos a ver si es que estos manes de Randall son marineros.
I agree with you, Toby, that
Someone should take Toby for a walk.
Ah, voy con Toby, de hecho. Creo que falta tu gorrito ahí, pues bueno.
Search, Toby.
Aquí va a ser el perro. Claramente que sí. Esta weón que tengo que buscar. Uy, me corté, weón. Aquí. Para Toby. Ponerse aquí.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Parece que no hay sitio.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Sí, por la ventana no. Faltó desladrarle la puerta que faltó la comida. Aquí este.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
Para esconderse, ¿no?
This hook might be useful.
¿Para qué?
Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved. gardening tools, nothing of great interest. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
Nada más aquí. Después fueron por aquí, dijiste, ¿cierto? Por aquí, por aquí. Y van aquí.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it? The bucket can be easily removed.
Cacho. Aquí.
The wheel handle is old and rusty. It seems to be used infrequently. Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware. A deer hunt. The Brackenstall family appear to be preoccupied with hunting.
Ver todo.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place. Or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Claramente. Where is he? Aquí está. Vaya a ver usted mismo, el inspector Lestrade, por favor, lo invito.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Como me equivocado tanto. Ah, como no sé. ¿Te puedo preguntar otra cosa?
You mentioned...
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you... Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Your ladyship?
¿Qué pregunta usted?
We found your mistress's silverware.
Pues, ¿por qué no
Oh,
me-
that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
¿Por qué le dije siempre? Su reacción. Aquí. Pensé que le preguntaré si era algo específico de cómo eran los contenedores. Eso arañoso, pero...
Let us try to open this safe.
¿Y cómo?
This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Lo tengo ahí. Si lo roto así no suena nada, ¿cierto? Ya. A ver si era. difícil la gracia. Tiene que poner el oído, ¿no? Me pasé. Ahí está. Difícil. Quiero ver lo que puedo mirar. Ya, dinero. Si destruye su actual estado físico mental es muy preocupante. No te agradece signos de descompensación hepática. La última vez que lo visité, sus ojos detalles y tal en sangre, su piel tiene un color amarillento particular que despide su aliento. Es muy común en la persona que sufre en deriva. Además sufre de abscesos en los pulmones. El sistema nervioso, a la que su vez está causado por exceso de alcohol. Lo mismo ocurre con los temblores. Ya.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Me voy a examinar, vengo con las preguntas. Me falta averiguar aquí, señores.
This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Eso era. Yo examiné por atrás porque saqué el cordón, ¿no? Ya. Tengo una conversación con usted, señor Lestrade.
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Claramente que sí.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know.
No quiero hablar con usted, señorita.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship?
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Ya necesito su versión, por favor.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behavior.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Puedo hacer esa cosa. Tengo nada. Quiero ver qué puedo investigar de mis objetos que tengo. Nada más. Aparecerá en este caso.
Holmes, don't...
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Para el gancho para bajarlo, después volvieron. Pero qué raro porque hubiera salido el rastro de vuelta. Pero en esta para guardar, volvieron y guardaron. Todo como estaba. Claramente. Qué difícil, ¿ah? Voy a poner que conocí a un marinero, ¿eh? Porque va a aparecer un marinero. Si ves un marinero, esta conclusión está... Mira. Dice que no conocía a alguien en el país y conoce a quien de luego aquí. Si no esta, va a aparecer alguien, supongo. Este claramente se golpeó con este, pero se golpeó con la cabeza con eso. Vamos a estas no van. Si pongo esa. Aquí yo tengo que... Me falta esa conclusión ahora. Voy a investigarlo. Yo creo que si ahora me sale esto... Ahora que tengo eso, tengo que ir a... ¿O no? Voy a investigar a los dos hijos. Si pongo eso, me va a tirar algo. Todo con 9 veces.
Sí, a mitad. A ver, que necesito sacar algo aquí. No, no, no. ¿Tengo alguna acción que hacer por ahí? ¿Investigarlo ahí? Quiero ver si puedo llegar a conocer a ese tipo que tengo ahí.
Have you found something interesting?
My archive. This is where I keep my post. A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful.
De siempre, bueno. Se sale solo en todo caso.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Que tengo que hablar con ella primero. ¿Qué es esa foto? Algo me faltaría que estoy dejando pasar. Si tiene... Quiero la foto, quiero comprar.
Oh, what a horror.
Please leave my Mary alone. She suffered so much, she deserves some rest.
La foto, ¿dónde está, güey? Es que había una puerta aquí, parece, ¿no? Que puedo... La puerta esta.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms.
No.
Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
No. Tengo que hablar con el niño, ¿no? Que conoce los... Que ver la foto.
This old suitcase.
Archivos. Tengo que ir a mi base. A mi base, tengo que ir a la casa. Investigar aquí. ¿Dónde está mi... Gibraltar.
Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Voy a llamar a este loco.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. This list shows the... I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our... This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Ya, eso dice Ernest. Superior.
I do not think that... I do not think...
William James Talcott, no tengo a nadie.
I do not think that this sailor... I do not think...
Ever Winkington no está tampoco.
I do not...
Ah, tengo que seguir con el siguiente, lo siento.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at...
Ya, ahí está, po. Thomas. So, weón. Ya creo que...
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. This officer is still at sea. I do not think that this list shows the sea. I do not think that this sailor has any connection.
Ah, Ever Winkington.
This officer... This officer is still at sea.
Claramente queda descartar todo.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him.
Hasta aquí vamos a dejar este episodio. Gracias por ver, voy a almorzar.